Look at how pretty. I grinded most of the rust scale off that I could get to. So anything that comes back now will just be surface rust. Didn't do the other side. Fucking takes too long and the batteries keep dying. So. Okay, so here we are next day. As you'll see, I got all this grinded down with the grinder just to see how bad the rust is in spots. I went underneath and I grinded off all the undercoating stuff or whatever was down there just to see how bad it was underneath. And it's not that bad underneath, so that's cool. So I found out where most of the bad metal was and where some of the questionable metal was. Here's my patch piece right here, back of a computer case. And it's even got a lip on it over here, which is cool. So I'm just gonna plop that whole thing in there like that. So as you'll notice, I got two lines right here. You want to cut inside of the line because you don't want to cut outside of it. Otherwise you'll have a gap. So I'm cutting a little smaller than what I need. And I'm just going to fill this whole area in. I have to go about here because that's where this this piece meets. So I got to be careful around that spot. I'd love to split it, but I don't have an air hammer. I don't feel like drilling out a bunch of fucking spot welds. It would take forever. But my tools of choice are grinder with a cutoff wheel. I tried a Sawzall. That wasn't all that great. I got this wire wheel to clean up the metal. And right here, the Jigsaw with a metal bit on it. That seems to do great, but the problem is I can't get this close to the metal, so I'll have to figure out something for that last little, half inch, but yep. Much bigger hole now. And if you notice, the reason why this is cut out weird is to follow the contours of this down here. So that's why that looks like that. Okay. Well, I'm probably going to use a grind them down a little smoother. That Jigsaw worked really well in the spots that it could reach, but the blade wasn't that long. So for the other bits, I used a cutoff wheel. So that got the rest of the job done. And my panel fits. Damn near perfect. So I'm going to take some cardboard maybe and trace it out till that fits, and then trace that onto the metal. And then we'll cut that out and have some fun with my new MIG welder. Okay, so I'm working on making this patch panel right here, and trying to bend it to the contortions in the floor. I'm going to see if I can do the ribs a little bit, maybe take this and hammer it to try and make something, at least to make it line up at these parts. I might not go all the way down, but yeah, now the fun part, just taking a hammer and beating the crap out of it until it fits the way you want it to. Grind here, cut there, hit that, but it's getting there. Let's check out what I found. So if you look on the metal right here, I have 3 marks in white. Pain in the ass to see them. The metal represents where the middle of the divot is, and these are the edges of it. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this punch that's real thick and putting it in my press in between 2 plates. Now I don't have flat plates, so I can't really go that far, but this works pretty damn well. I have the narrower end inside because I don't think I'm going to do a rib all the way through. So So I just line everything up in the press like this, and I press it together. Now be aware that this is going to make your total floor pan a little narrower wherever you put the bend. So hopefully there isn't a huge gap here now. But that's all I did. And if you want, you can hit this with a hammer while it's pressed to try and flatten it back down. But now, look at that. You got a little floor pan bend. Cool. Of course, massaging with a hammer will help it look pretty. Alright, check that out. Fits in there nice and flush now. Cool. So now I just got to hammer it a little bit more to get the shape that I want. But it fits in the hole now, so that's a good start. What you can do that I've seen a lot online is people make tack welds. You make like one in this corner, and you start to hammer it a little, and then start to make another one. Or you do like each corner, you'll do this corner, and then that corner, and start to hammer it, and bend it, and tack it as you go, so then you can contour it to the floor panel a lot better. So it'll just take some work. Now, I think that this has some kind of galvanized coating on it, and you got to be really careful with galvanized fumes. It's really bad for you. So I'm going to try and grind off some of the edges here like I did with this metal. So you got bare metal on both sides. So I might just bring the welder over. So here's something you may not have known, but if you're ever going to weld on a vehicle, you should always disconnect the negative cable from your battery. And if you want to take an extra step, unplug your ECU or any very important computers your vehicle might have. Because if in the rare occasion that your welder were to somehow backfeed into your system, you'd blow that motherfucker up pretty fast. So make sure that your battery's unplugged if you're planning on doing any body welding. So here's the machine I got right here. This is the Longevity. It's the MIG Weld 140. It was $330 from Home Depot. The only thing that I had to get was some flux core wire, so I don't feel like getting a MIG bottle and everything. But it's a pretty nice little thing. I was running some test beads on it. I was practicing on something that was a lot thicker, and I had to switch it to negative, but it's a pretty cool little machine. So I'm going to hook that up, and we'll start running some tacks. The important thing here is to make sure that you spread out your work a lot, because if you keep the heat in one area, like you can't just sit here and run a full bead around the whole thing. It's not going to work. You got to go very slow and move around so that your panel doesn't warp at all. So slow and steady. That's the fun part. Okay, I'll show you what I've been doing so far. So I made a couple, I drilled some holes out for plug welds there, and also on this side here. And as you can see, I started at the beginning and just worked my way and continued. When I saw that the panel was flush, spot, spot, put a spot. And then like right here, what you're going to do is hit on the panel so that the patch will raise up with the floor or hit the floor down, and keep doing that so that they all line up. So like as you go along, you just want to make sure that they're both at the same height before you put down your tack. It's going pretty good so far. Can't complain. First time welding with a MIG. Quick update here. So, as you'll notice, I've been doing little, 2 to 4 inch lines, spacing them out pretty far. Just working my way up, keeping my way. So I still got a lot more to do, but I figured I'd show you how it's going so far. It's pretty well. I do a start-stop. It's not just a continuous thing. It's I'll continue for a little bit, let a puddle form, and then stop, and then right when the orange starts to fade, I hit it again for a little bit, and I keep doing that. That way the heat stays down. And so far I'm getting pretty good results. Not terrible. Alright. That's everything. Sorry it looks so blue. This light I'm using kind of sucks. But she's welded all the way around. Took a little while. Took about 3 separate passes. Okay. Interesting. I only blew, I think two total holes. Wasn't all that bad. But just getting the hang of it. I enjoy it. It's pretty fun. And it does the job, so can't ask for much more. Cool. Got a solid floor pan now. I'd feel comfortable jumping up and down on that. Ugh. Cool. She's in there. Still got other holes to do, but it's a good start. Progress.